Okay, hey guys. So I am back, and today is Monday. And you know what that means? That means today we are doing the live, a live behind the scenes commentary for my next short film, or not next short film, but the short film that is next in line, which is short film number 4. So yeah. So basically, uh, if you're joining me right now or on the replay, I am going to do a behind the scenes commentary on short film number 4. So, without further ado, here we go. Let's jump right into it. Done. So, and remember again, these short films do not have any audio again because I still don't know how to do that. So, but eventually I will find out. But until then, just listen to the beautiful sound of my lovely voice. And here we go. So this short film basically the premise, the premise basically revolves around two individuals, uh, which are basically they are both like middle aged, they're both like in their early 40s or so, and they're both single. One's an Asian male, one's a black woman, Asian guy, black woman. They're both single as fuck. They don't, you know what I mean. And when the movie starts, they're basically sort of kind of feeling that pressure, you know what I mean, from themselves and also from their friends and family, sort of like pressuring them, hey, like you're now middle aged, you know what I mean? You still don't have, anybody. You don't have a partner, you're not married, you don't have kids, you don't even have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you have nothing. You're single and you're 43, you don't have much to show for yourself. So that's when they sort of, you know what I mean, basically kind of, they feel that pressure, they're like, oh, okay, I'll get right on it, and they basically decide to look for love, sort of in all the wrong places. And I feel like, you know what I mean, for all the wrong reasons, you know what I mean, instead of waiting for it to happen, or, you know what I mean, looking for love for the right reasons, they're looking for it for the wrong reasons. Um, and speaking of wrong, so I had some, this short film was not an easy one to make. It was probably the most difficult one. I know, those of you, my loyal Ambw subscribers, if you saw the last Ambw Movie Monday that I did, it it was, I said that movie was the least favorite of mine. That I didn't enjoy making it. I didn't enjoy editing it or watching it or even talking about it. But this might be the runner up to it. I just didn't enjoy. If I'm being completely honest here, I didn't enjoy working with the cast. The cast made it really difficult. They were not really pleasant to work with. It was just not a fun environment. Even though I feel like their acting ability was pretty good, it was difficult working with the people that I worked with. The crew was lovely. It's just the cast. It was kinds of assholeish, but I mean, it doesn't matter, because and sort of because of that, the movie never got done, never got finished, and basically what you're watching now, or what you've been what seen so far, we've seen, if you've actually seen the movie itself, are basically all the scenes that I already completed and put together, and I had to add title cards and stuff like that in order to fill in the scenes that were not done, because as it turns out, the movie's not done, so it was never finished. So what you see now is basically a sort of assembled cut of it. But like I said, I worked a really long time on this script, especially. I wanted to make something that didn't involve college students. I want to do something that's a little bit more mature for older audiences. You know what I mean? And I'm not at that age yet, thankfully, but I felt as though I can kind of relate to what's going on here, and so I wrote about it. I wanted to write a story about two people who are lonely, who are looking for love, and yeah, they feel the pressure to from their families to start to basically settle down, and that may or may not be what they really want. So, as the short film opens, this scene is one of those title card scenes, because unfortunately well, actually no, was it is because we actually shot this first scene was supposed to be set over Zoom. It's supposed to be set over between a call between the lead actress, her name is Melanie, and her mother. And unfortunately, I this scene was actually shot over Zoom. We recorded it and everything like that, but I lost those scenes because the hard drive containing it crashed, and um yeah, so there's just a lot of bad juju surrounding this movie. But so that's why I have the audio from it. I do have the audio, so basically, like, for this behind the scenes commentary, I can't even play the audio. So I'll tell you what happens. Basically, this is the first scene where her mom Melanie's mother is telling her, find a man, find anybody, just find a guy, get married, and have kids. And Melanie is trying to kind of come up with these excuses as to why she's not yet married or why she doesn't have kids or anything like that. But her mom isn't having it. So that's basically what happens in this scene. Um, and so it's a pretty quick scene. Yeah, you know, this is the longest film. This is the longest film that I've done for this channel. It's not even done, but it's almost an hour, so it's a long one. But like I said, I wanted to tell a story that was different, that didn't involve kids or college kids, and one that involved adults in the real world, in the horrible, depressing ass, fucked up real world. Um, so there's that. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're watching right now, I'm just waiting for the scene to finish. It's kind of awkward because there is audio playing, but you can't hear it. So, yeah. Wow, this seems a lot longer than I remember it being. Okay, well, all right, we're going to skip to this. So, this first scene is basically this scene is between the male lead right here. His name is Ryan, right there, and he's talking with his father here, played by Sam, and his dad is basically giving him the same pep talk. He's like, son, you're at a certain point. Basically, you're old as fuck, and you're not married yet. You don't have kids. You don't even have a girlfriend. You have nothing. And they're basically discussing that, talking about it in this scene right here. Ryan's kind of playing it off like, oh, it's no big deal. His father's like, no, it is a big deal because you're old as fuck, and you don't have. And I want some grandkids. And so I feel like honestly that's sort of a big problem that my generation has, or any generation has for that matter. They wait until it's too late to sort of get on the ball in order to have children, and a lot of them feel like, oh, I have all the time in the world, but reality is that you don't. And so you know you really should get on the ball if you want children, but a lot of people, we live in the age of I don't know or I'm not sure, which really just kind of hurts your chances of finding love or having a family, anything like that. People are just stupidly undecisive nowadays. It's really dumb, and it affects me in a negative way too. So fuck you to all people who do that. Um. hmm So yeah. So since this movie is really long, you guys, I don't feel like sitting through all of it because I don't really like this movie. I'm gonna skim through some of it, but I'm gonna summarize a lot of what happens in it. We shot this scene in a park. I'm not gonna disclose exactly where, but what I remember was that there was this stupid Asian chick that kicked us out of this, or not kick us out, But yeah, I kind of kicked. I let her. I don't know why, but I let her kick us out of the table we were initially at. We had to go to this other table because she was being a pushy little Asian woman, and decided to that she wouldn't give up. So next time that happens, next time a pushy Asian girl comes over, tries to push me over, I'm gonna say no. You have a problem with that? You can call the cops because we were there first, and that's basically the story of that filming this day. But go figure, right? I mean, traditionally Asian guys are pushovers anyway, so that day it was nothing but Asian dudes, and so what are you gonna do? Oh, hey, so cool. So this scene was a better scene. So we shot this down in Dockweather Beach, and this is the scene that shows Melanie, again the lead actress here, seen for the first time with her assistant, played by Amaris. Um, and Melanie is a mature model. Basically, she's a 43-year-old swimsuit model, bikini model, and that's what she does for a living. And her assistant right there is I don't remember what her character's name is, but she plays her assistant. And so her assistant is in this scene. She basically tries to help her out, look for love, and set her up on a group date with them. And so they all go out and you know all sort of looking for love, and or at least Melanie is. And so yeah. So, and I will give you guys a guess as to how old you think the actress is in that scene. She's supposed to be 43, but do you think she's actually 43? Or close to it? Or do you think she's older? Or do you think she's younger? I will let you know by the end of it. Definitely let y'all know. It's a beautiful scene. That day was a long fucking scene. It wasn't. The next day, the second day was a long ass fucking day of filming. Um, like I said, not the friendliest people, not the most pleasant people to work with, but sometimes you just got to take the L in order to get a W, right? There you go. Beautiful scene though, beautiful. Like the waves crashing. I've shot so many short films at the beach and done so many photo shoots at the beach. I just love it. Like if I were like a rich white person, I would definitely build a house on the beach. That's exactly what I would do. I would build a house on the beach, and that'd be awesome. You know, I'd love that. That'd be great. You know, but since I'm technically homeless, I mean, I guess I could always just sort of live down there anyway. You know, and like walk down to the beach and just hang out there the whole day. So, real life kind of sucks that much, right? Why not just live it the way you want to live it? Unless some stupid little Asian bitch fucking tries to kick you out of your bench. Whatever. Anyway, it's not gonna happen anymore. Okay, so this scene is really fucking long. Holy shit. Okay, so we are gonna jump to the next scene, which we find again our male lead, played by Ryan, the Asian guy in the front, and he is a lawyer in this movie, but he's also an Uber driver, and that is what he does for a living. So in this scene, he's talking to one of his customers, who is significantly younger than him, and he's telling him about his love life and how this guy, and he's telling him how he's such a player. He cheats on his girlfriend with other women. He never gets caught. All that stuff. He doesn't want to settle down. He's afraid of commitment. Kind of sums up, like I said before, my thoughts on dating nowadays and how, people are basically, for lack of a better word, dumb, especially when it comes to dating and stuff. So yeah. So this is the scene right there. I actually like this scene. This might be my favorite scene. Acting wise, I think this guy's name is Josh. He does a great job in this scene, and so does Ryan. I mean, they're both actually really good actors, and I don't know. I just like the acting in the scene. I like the sort of back and forth, you know, um, and so yeah, so that's that. So the next scene, what is the next scene? What's the next scene? Okay, so this scene is between. It's another scene that was not shot, unfortunately, but it's between Melanie and her best friend, and they're in the car and they're just talking. And Melanie's friend is basically, she's around. She's basically, Melanie's age, but unlike Melanie, she's married and has a kid. So she has the things that Melanie wants and things that everyone else are pressuring her to have. But they're sort of talking about, motherhood, and whether it's, not too late for Melanie herself to pursue her own family, even though she's getting up there, and when you hit menopause, it's like game over. But yeah, and the scene is really long because, again, for some reason, I thought it'd be a good idea to make this whole story really long as fuck, and then I realized no, it's a bad idea. So this next scene right here, jumping ahead, the next scene is between Ryan and his best friend, and again, they're talking about sort of similar things, about sort of their dating lives, their love lives, and why Ryan isn't with anybody, and his friend, who is sort of kind of the voice of reason. He's telling him, what I mean, don't look for love just because people are telling you to do it. Look for love because you're ready. Look for love because it's something that you feel instinctively that you're ready for and that you want to meet someone. You know what I mean? That should always be the case. Unfortunately, myself included, people don't always have the patience to do something like that. And, it's just, dating's a fucking bitch. What can I say? In college, when you can meet people naturally, it was way better. It was way better. But, you know, it's a real motherfucker. I don't enjoy it. I don't care if that sounds negative. If you think it's negative, then you can unsub from this page, because I don't care. I'll say that. I'll say whatever I want. And so this scene, they're talking about it again. Ty, who is another short film that I did. It's on this channel. He does a good job as a voice of reason. And Ryan is sort of like, I'm going to go after younger women because, they have better chances of getting pregnant. And I still want to have kids in my life. And I go after someone my own age, it's not going to happen because they're old as shit. So, if I go after someone young or whatever and knock her up, then hey, problem solved, right? So that's basically his plan. and as you can see, his friend is kind of like not really having it. So yeah. Okay, so jumping ahead, we are here, and this next scene is between these two ladies we saw earlier, Melanie and her assistant, and they're in the Uber, and they're on their way to the group date, and her assistant is telling Melanie, so FYI, your date is actually a lot younger. Your date is actually 24, whereas Melanie is 43. So that, and she's telling her this as they're on the way to the date. So it's kind of at the last minute. Melanie's kind of freaking out, but then her assistant's like, "Oh, too late, too late. I already paid for the trip. It's a long trip. We're not turning back. You got to go through it." And again, that sort of adds to the uncertainty, right, that Melanie is experiencing. Um, but that is a part of it. So there you go. There you go. Okay, and this scene is another long, really fucking long scene. So this scene, the next scene after this, which is not filmed, I will explain what happens. This scene is we jump back to Ryan, and he's actually on his own date. And as you could have, maybe you might have guessed, his date is actually also young. It's a young woman who's like in her early 20s, who's like a good 20 years younger than him. And like he was saying earlier, his plan is to try and get in a relationship with someone younger so that they're still able to have kids, and he has a family, which actually really isn't all that bad a plan, except that he underestimates everything else. So that's what happens in this scene. Ryan is supposed to go out with the girl who's a lot younger than him, and it basically, for lack of a better word, doesn't work out. So and then we jump over to this scene, which is between again the group date between Melanie and her assistant and her boyfriend, and Melanie's date. And we actually shot this in a oh, where did we shoot that? In a cafe that I actually rented out for a few hours. That's really cool. It's really nice. And so this scene, which is not filmed, this scene is a scene between. We jump back to the date between Ryan and her name is Tori. His date's name is Tori, and they are discussing things, and it becomes quite apparent that because due to the age difference, there's a lot of generational, cultural differences between the two of them. It might not work out because of that. It's hard to relate to each other, all that stuff. She's really young and immature. He's older and knows what he wants and is ready to settle down. Let me, as it is in real life, younger women, I'll say this: young women are not ready to settle down. They do not give a fuck about that. For them, it's always party, party, party. It's always party time. They're never ready for anything serious, and all that stuff, unless it's like with some 6 foot tall white dude with six pack. But hey, like I said, I wrote a book on this shit. I already figured it out. So there you go. Then so we can jump back to this scene, the date scene between what's his name, Melanie and her assistant, and it's actually going okay. This is the first date, and so I would say that Melanie's date is actually making a good impression on her. He seems mature, he seems kind of classy, he seems like a gentleman, all that stuff, and yeah, never mind the fact that they're just all eating salad. It's okay. I'm a cheap ass. I'm Chinese American, so just I'm cheap by nature. But yeah, so that's the scene, and they are going through the scene, and it's going well, and it was okay. I mean, like filming that day for that day was okay. All the other days were fucking horrible though. I didn't enjoy it. I hate filming this scene. I mean this movie in general, but this scene was okay. This scene was okay. So, and like I said, the actual film itself is available on this channel. I will link the description. I'll link it to this video so you can check it out. Go check it out, please. It's really good. I mean, it's not really good, but it's like, well, not good. It's not. I didn't half-ass it. It's not my favorite. Basically, I spent a lot of time working on this thing. Go check it out. Please go check it out. Don't be a cheap ass. Just check it out. It's for free. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Okay. Here's another scene between Ryan and his date. Again, Tori was not filmed, but he's basically in the car. Again, this scene, it becomes really fucking obvious and apparent that they're not right for each other because of the age difference, and that's not good. So there's all that stuff, blah blah blah. So it's really long. This fucking movie. So this scene is where, basically Melanie and her date make out for the first time, and there seems to be some sort of attraction between the two of them, some sort of spark, and just rule of thumb for everyone out there. I have a rule of thumb: never ever fucking make out or kiss your date on the first date. Just don't do it. Or on the second. Or really, just take your sweet ass fucking time and don't do that. That's exactly what happens here, and yeah, it starts well but doesn't end well. Let me say that basically. So there you go. There we go. I'm gonna skip through this because it's a long ass scene again. I don't want to sit through all of that, but you can if you want to. It's available on the channel. And so this scene is another scene between Ryan and his dad, and this is after Ryan's horrible date with the college chick. And so his dad is sort of reprimanding him for going on a date with a girl who's young enough to be his daughter, basically. But and Ryan's like, oh, I guess I wasn't thinking, my mistake. It's like when you're trying to make something better and you end up making it worse. You know what I mean? I know that feeling for sure. So so this scene, and then this scene is the scene. Sorry, I jumped to this. So this scene is between Melanie and her assistant, and it's where basically Melanie is telling her assistant how well the date went, that they made out, all that stuff, that it went well, and that they're planning on seeing each other again, all that stuff, and her assistant is kind of teasing her about it, but then she's like, it's whatever, it's not a big deal. And so this scene, which is not filmed again, it's a scene where Melanie calls Kevin and they set up a second date. And that was supposed to be filmed, but like I said, is not there because we didn't, because these people are terrible. And so this scene is the scene. This scene, I like this scene. It's between Ryan and his friend, and Ryan is telling him, you know what? I decided I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna look for love. I'm tired of meeting these terrible people, having these horrible online dates, you know. And his friend's like, oh, I'm impressed that you are maturing, right? So it's part of his character arc, he's maturing. You know what I mean? He's coming to terms with the fact that yes, even though he's older, doesn't matter what age you are, love will find you in the end. You can't look for love. You have to let it happen on its own. So because of that, he's telling his friend, now that, hey, that's exactly what's going on. I'm gonna do that, and yeah. So go. It's a good scene. It's a really good scene. Let's see. So this scene. Okay. So this next scene is another scene that was not filmed. It is between Melanie and Kevin, and this is their second date, and now they go to a drive-in movie drive-in, where Kevin basically tries to sneak a quick one or whatever, sort of basically grab her butt, and she's not having it, so she kicks him out of the car. She tells him off. She tells him, hey, look, it's not gonna work out. You're a nice kid, but you're obviously just here for the sex, and that's what I'm not looking for. So he's sort of like, oh no, I can change. I'm mature. I know what I want. It's not just sex, but she basically tells him off and ends it there. So, which again shows my point. You can't look for love. You need to wait for it to happen. And in this scene, it's between Melanie and her assistant, and Melanie is telling her what happened, that she had to end things with Kevin because he was only in it for sex. And she's kind of, at that point, she's basically just herself. She's just done. She's done. She's just giving up on love and all that stuff. And her assistant's like, no, don't quit, blah blah blah. And in this scene, we have her, Melanie's assistant trying to convince her otherwise, and telling her that she's a good person. I mean, that whether or not she's single or not, she's a good person, and that's what matters in the end. And that love, whether it's meant to find you, will find you on its own. All that stuff, blah 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 blah. And next scene is between Ryan. Another scene between Ryan and his dad, because we love park benches and they're free to film that. But also because because this is a scene where Ryan tells his dad, you know what, like, I'm done. I will wait for love to find me. All that stuff. Kind of what I've been saying for the last 10 minutes. Is that yeah. Even though things don't work out or haven't worked out, I'm okay. I'm okay if I don't have kids. I'm okay if I'm not always alone, because as long as I'm happy with or without someone, that's what matters. And that's what he tells his dad, and his dad is impressed. And in the end, I think that's what all parents want for us anyways, right? It's just to be happy. And they all want grandkids, but that's besides the point. So this scene is a scene that we shot. Again, I lost the video, so unfortunately it's just audio, but it is another scene where Melanie is basically telling her mom off, that, hey, like, you're the one who's been pressuring me to do this all this time. But I've realized that I am happier on my own, with or without someone. That's what matters. I'm happy, and I can't force myself like you try to pressure me. So that's basically what happens here. Um, and this scene is between Melanie and her assistant, and this is like this takes place a few months later, where her assistant has actually moved on to other employment, more gainful, better employment, and Melanie is literally just kind of focusing on herself. And so, she's basically in a newer headspace. She's clearer, all that stuff, blah blah blah, blah, more focused on herself, all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then her phone starts going off, which she tries to ignore at first. But we later learn that it's a notification from a dating app, and she's trying not to pay too much attention because, like I said, she's just trying to, she's tired of waiting. She basically just wants to wait for love. And so there's another scene where her phone is going off, all that stuff. Yeah. Fuck her. And she's just, yeah, trying to ignore it, and then eventually she answers it, and so there you go. And then this next scene is where we go over to Ryan, and then his dating notification thingy is going off. So it turns out that it was not shot, but that their notifications, they get matched up with each other. So they're both in a state of mind where they're not looking for anything; they're just waiting for it to happen. And then, as fate would have it, they're paired up with each other by the app. And then they finally check their app, like, oh, awesome, I'll check it, and they go out on a date. And what happens in the end is that it's basically, they meet each other on the date, and they have a good time because they're both at the same age, they're both mentally mature, all that stuff, looking for the same thing. They're not looking to rush, but they are looking for something real, and that's what matters in the end. You know what I mean? That's the difference between dating a little freaking brat in her 20s and being old as fuck and trying to date someone who's actually mature and knows what they want and isn't there to waste your time. So there you go. That's pretty much the movie. I appreciate it if you are interested in checking out the movie and not listening to my beautiful voice. Then go check it out. I will link the link. I will include the link in the video description of this video. Sorry I had to rush through it. I just don't. I don't. I don't like that movie. But anyway, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed it more than I did. It was okay. It's fine. I think I like the fact that it takes some more chances. It's a more mature story, and that it involves people who are going through similar things that I am, or sort of relatable. So I do like that part. I do like the writing and like some of the acting. But if you enjoyed this video, like this video, comment, subscribe. I will be back with more content on the way. So thank you very much. Have a good day, and God bless.